Siobhan Cosgrave. So she is based in London, but is practicing online at the minute. So I'll be talking to her about her journey into herbal medicine and how she practices. Thank you, Siobhan, for joining.
Well, thank you for having me here today.
So Siobhan, what I'd really love to know is how you got into herbal medicine. I love hearing about people's journeys. So tell me about how you discovered herbs and what made you want to practice as a herbalist.
Well, as a child, I was very interested in all the folklore around plants and stories, and I loved that whole connection to the fairies and the fairy world, and how you should always ask permission if you're going to pick any plants. And you know, I just loved the stories, and I loved growing plants. So I kind of had that connection. And if I was ill, my mother would always always like natural things that she'd use, like honey and lemon and garlic and ginger and cloves, and then, you know, wrapping myself up really warm in bed to kind of sweat it out, you know, this stuff that we still use in the naturopathic world. But, you know, back then I just thought that was, you know, normal. I didn't know it was herbal medicine or anything like that. But then I really found my way back to this natural kind of remedies when I was at university, and my health took a turn for the worst. So I started getting really bad acid reflux, and I was vomiting a lot, and it progressed into really bad stomach cramps and, you know, really bad diarrhea. And it would always get worse around exams because it was more stressful. And so when I used to go to the doctor, they didn't really believe me, because they just thought I wanted to get out of my exams, and it wasn't anything they could diagnose that was wrong with me. So it was just like I was sent on my way. And so it's just something I really kind of learned to live with. And then after I graduated and I started working in finance in the city, and there was a lot of long hours, a lot of stress, and burning the candle at both ends, you know, eating bad food, drinking too much alcohol, the digestive issues just got worse. And then I was exhausted all the time. I was just propping myself up with caffeine and sugar. And it kind of progressed then as well into my periods. They started to get really painful, like extremely painful, and extreme fatigue around them. And I felt like my health was getting worse and worse and worse. And I was going back to my doctor all the time. They weren't really able to do anything. I mean, I was referred to a gynecologist who just prescribed extra strong painkillers. And I was like, you know, I'm in my early 20s, you know, surely there's something we can do. And I thought, well, you know, I'm not living a great lifestyle. My food is terrible. Maybe I'll start there. And then it was in an independent health shop. I accidentally met a herbalist, and like, I didn't know people like that existed. I thought, you know, it's just something you did yourself with you know, plants and remedies. And I started working with this herbalist, and she really brought me back to full health with the guidance I needed. Like, we had to do a lot of work on my gut. I'd been on many courses of antibiotics over the years, quite long courses, which just wreaked havoc. And I was working on my stress management. And with those remedies, I was just energized again. I had no digestive symptoms. My period pain was gone, and periods are really pleasant now and happy experiences for me. And I was just like, this is just so amazing. I want to learn how to do this, and I want to be able to help other people as well. So that's when I looked at retraining in the herbal medicine world.
Wow. So really you use the herbs to basically help yourself, and wanted to sort of share that with other people then.
Yes, yeah, and just the fact that they work on so many different levels and much deeper than just food. They go a lot deeper. They work spiritual levels, emotional levels, our physical level, and they're just very, very gentle but powerful healers. And they are truly magical. You know, these little stories I loved when I was a child, and they do just work magic. And, you know, if you respect them and work properly with them. So I was just like, no, I want to be able to show other people. You don't have to suffer. You know, there are things you can do. You can take control of your own health, and, you know, and live a symptom-free, you know, life. So, and be energized. Everybody's just so exhausted all the time, aren't they? And then you just don't have to feel that way.
Excellent. So tell me, can you tell us a bit about some of the herbs you worked with on your journey, sort of your favorite ones that really brought you back to health?
Well, I think one of my favorite is nettle. You know, it grows everywhere in the UK, and it's just so good for our adrenal system. So when you're stressed and your adrenals get really depleted and a bit burnt out, nettle's very good at nourishing that and building it back. It's also very nutritive as well. So that was one. There was a lot of aloe vera for my gut, marshmallow to really help heal heal the gut. And a lot of antimicrobials, because there was a lot of, I had a lot of dysbiosis in my gut, and the antibiotics just wreaked havoc. So there was a lot of that berberine containing herbs that we used to kind of heal that and to soothe the stomach lining, and also to increase the stomach acid. All this reflux I'd had was because of the low stomach acid, so it's really healing that gut. And all the lovely nervines and adaptogens that we have that really help with stress, with the nervous system, that nourish it. So I remember having teas of oat straw to really nourish that nervous system and bring it back. It was completely depleted, and to bring that back to life, really, so it could support me well. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love oat straw tea. It's so delicious.
It is, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. So with your clients now, do you tend to see a lot of people with gut issues and stress? Is it quite similar to sort of what you went through, or what sort of clients do you see?
Yes, I think a lot of stuff does come down to the gut. It's where the root of our health. It's so important. There's so much research now over the last 30 years in the scientific world, backing up what traditional medicines, such as herbal medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, have known for thousands of years, that that's where all illness really starts, is in an unhealthy gut. So a lot of my clients, there is some gut issues there that have to be worked upon, and I see a lot of clients with autoimmune conditions, a lot of thyroid issues, women who so they're coming because it's hormonal imbalances, that maybe at perimenopause, menopause, or they're having trouble with their periods. But then when you go down to find the underlying cause of that, a lot of the time that sits in the gut and with stress. And because the gut and stress is so interlinked, they're often areas that we have to work on. And it's and clients as well, they kind of think they're swapping pharmaceuticals for, like a pharmaceutical drug for a herbal alternative. And it's making them understand that it doesn't really work like that. We're going down to the root cause. Then we're going to re-establish homeostasis and balance within the body, and that's going to get rid of your symptoms. Because sometimes they're like, no, I don't want to work on my gut, I want to do this instead. But it's like making them understand, well, that's, if you take the time to do this now, that's gonna, you're going to be free of symptoms then, so long as you maintain your balance within the body. Because after I finished herbal medicine and naturopathy, I continued training in Ayurvedic medicine. And I find that my clients love this. Like, a lot of them, they've never heard of Ayurveda when it comes to me, but I make them do a little quiz to work out their prakriti. So that's your allocation of the 3 doshas that you have at the time of conception. And in Ayurveda, all illnesses considered to arise when your prakriti goes out of balance. And it's by bringing it back into balance that you'll get rid of any symptoms and illnesses. And I find this but as my clients learn about their prakriti and maybe their dominant doshas, they understand themselves more, and they get quite excited. Like, oh, now I understand why I'm like this, and why I have I always have too many things to do, and I never feel like I'm getting anything done, or why I'm such a perfectionist. They understand that, and then they understand like how they're trying to get back into balance, and I find they get more motivated, and they're more into this when they're understanding the Ayurvedic concepts. So it's really nice to work with them.
So for anyone that doesn't know about Ayurveda, would you be able to quickly explain what the doshas are?
Oh gosh, yes. So in Ayurveda, there's 3 doshas. So there's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And these are also related to the elements. So Vata is related to the air element, and Vata is very much movement and cold and dry. And so any kind of quality such as that can aggravate the Vata. So someone who's got maybe a lot of Vata within them, and they're eating a lot of cold food, it can be quite bad for them, because that's just increasing their Vata and aggravating it. Now, Pitta is dosha related to fire, and it's very much transformation, it's metabolism within the body. Every cell in our body's got like a digestive fire, and we've still got that digestive fire in our gut as well. So keeping that balanced is very important. And people with too much Pitta, maybe they might have inflammatory conditions. because they've got too much heat in them. So it's really just bringing them, you know, back, decreasing that down a little bit, because they're ones that can have more cooling things in their world. And kapha is the earth element, so it's a bit more heavier. So people that maybe, you know, people that just don't like breakfast in the morning, usually that's like a kapha person, because they, you know, they don't really have to have the breakfast, they're fine. And they're also people that maybe find it a bit harder to lose weight. And yeah, so, and there'd be like people that, you know, they don't have loads of energy, that, you know, they're just quite earthy, grounded people, quite stable. Yeah, and so when we get that mix at the time of conception, and so often some people have got a really dominant dosha, and it is everyday things. It's stress can throw that out of balance, like the weather, like very hot weather can increase the pitta. It can be medications throwing yourself out of balance, overuse of medications, and just eating incorrectly for your dosha, because everybody's different. There's no one size fits all. Such as a vata person, cold food isn't going to be very good for them, but a pitta person's going to probably need more cooling foods, and a kapha person's not going to want too much mucus and heavy types of food. So it's just, yeah, and it's just, yeah, establishing what's right for each individual.
So you use Ayurveda as a way of really bespoking like the formulas and lifestyle advice for your clients, because I think that's a really important point about herbal medicine, when you were talking about how it's not just sort of a drug but in the form of a herb. You actually would be working specifically for the client to offer them personalized medicine, which you definitely don't get.
Yes. Yes, so it is. It's looking at them, their prakriti, what they're born with, how it's gone out of balance, how we're going to bring them back into balance, and then you look at the herbs. The herbs have all got. If you look at the doshas, they're like an energetic way of looking at ourselves. And same with herbs. Herbs have their own energetics as well. So then it's choosing the herbs that are going to work best for that person and the best combination for them, and bring them together for this individual. And then also with their lifestyle advice and dietary advice, it's never like a really strict plan, because that will just create stress. So I can't eat this and I can't do that. And if they understand how to live within balance within the dosha, it's a lot easier to manage, and you know, and it's small changes. And I just find, yeah, they're just, once they understand all this, they're more motivated and more compliant, because it's simple to implement into life.
So tell us more about the herbs that you use with your clients. Do you work with sort of Western herbs that are growing in the UK, or when you use Ayurvedic herbs, and how do you decide, which herbs do you work with?
Yes, I think we can get a little carried away with all exotic, wonderful herbs from other countries, can't we? And they are absolutely fantastic, but a lot of the herbs that grow in the UK are just as fantastic. We're just not talked about as much. So I love like UK herbs such as borage. That is just absolutely wonderful. Again, it's good for the adrenals. People that are very stressed, and obviously nettle. I love dandelion. We've got all this like rose hips and hawthorn, all this stuff that grows around us, which is just absolutely amazing. And I do also work with some Ayurvedic herbs, and obviously got ashwagandha, which is truly wonderful, adaptogen, things like holy basil. I just make sure everything is good quality and that I can source really in the UK. So it's not traveling very far and it's not getting irradiated, so that my clients will get good quality herbs. And then by choosing what I want for what I think is best for that person, it's really looking at the qualities of the herbs and how they're going to work together. If, say, someone's got really bad insomnia, and it could be due to their vata being way too high, it's just like choosing herbs that really do calm that vata down, and blending them in a way that is good for that person. And there might be other things to work on as well. So it's the selection of herbs, blending them, and the quantities, That's what I really love, like, putting the prescriptions together, choosing the herbs, and then watching how they get on. It's really wonderful. I had a client with menopause insomnia. She came to me and she's like, I've tried everything, nothing works. I never sleep. And she, within the first month, she's like, I can't believe it, I'm sleeping. You know, and I was just like, it's because everything you tried before has been very, it's an approach that's, it's one size fits all, like, oh, these herbs are what you need to sleep. It might work for a lot of people, but because it's not tailored to that individual and what's causing that person's problems, they're not always going to be successful.
Absolutely.
And when journeys.
Yeah. That's such a powerful healing tool, just being able to sort someone's sleep out, full stop.
I know, because it's like, you can't sleep, it's just your whole life is miserable, isn't it? And, you know, sleep's when the body repairs itself, and, you know, you're not getting that chance. Or, yeah, and especially, I mean, it is, especially with ladies in the menopause, and they're having insomnia problems, or they're waking up sweating all night, and just helping them resolve those, it's just, you know, giving them some quality of life back. It's just amazing.
So with the herbs you use, do you have a preference with tinctures or teas or powders, or will it vary with the client?
Yeah, it will vary with the clients. I do find they can be a bit more compliant with a tincture because it's just very easy to take. There's no mixing up the powders. Some people don't like the graininess of the powder. So the tincture, they take quite quickly. Of course, it can be a bit shocking to have that tincture the first time. So I always prepare them for it. You know, it's not going to be, those ones will take a little bit of shock. But also, I do also work with teas as well. And it depends on the individual. Some of them just, they don't get around to making the tea. Others, you know, they're already drinking a lot of tea, but I just want them to drink the blends that I've made for them because it's part of their healing process. And teaching them about what's growing around them that they can actually pick themselves and make. And a lot of people really enjoy that, especially if they've got kids, because they're involving their children in, you know, some bit of nature and some outside, you know, fun. So that's really, really good. But so yeah, mainly tinctures and some teas, and it depends on the individual, and the herbs as well. Some work better as a powder. Yeah.
And I just, when you're talking about parents sort of being able to engage their kids with finding herbs, is that sort of harking back to your own childhood when you also were sort of very interested in?
Yes, I know. I you know, sometimes think, God, I must have probably been a bit of a sad child compared to others, you know, because I have all these plant books, like, and I used to get them, write my name in it and my age, and I've still got them when I look at it, and I was like, gosh, this is what I was reading. Other kids are probably reading more like, I don't know, fun adventure type books. And but yeah, they are fascinating, and I just think it's so sad that we've lost that knowledge, especially in the UK. You know, a lot of it, because my family from Ireland, there's still a lot of the folklore in Ireland, people still know about it, and it's really interesting. And there was even a case fairly recently of the hawthorn tree. You know, you're not supposed to really touch the hawthorn or cut it down without asking the fairy queen's permission. And they did when they were building a road. They cut this tree down, and then they had a whole load of bad luck around the building site. So they planted another tree and asked the fairy queen for forgiveness, and all their bad luck stopped. So it's like stories like that just fascinate me. I just think it's so interesting. And it's more like just being respectful for nature, really, isn't it? Like we need nature to survive, and we should look after nature.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the wonderful thing about herbs. Like, there's so much we sort of don't understand the way sort of they work on that spiritual level, and and it's just such a rich practice, because you know, will learn to forage, you'll learn about botany, you'll learn about folklore and history, yes, and anthropology of the way people were working with the herbal medicine. It's really rich.
Yes, it's just like a huge topic, isn't there? There's just so much to learn, and just like one plant, there's just so much history and like stories and magic around them. I just love it.
So you will love sort of delving into that side of the plants, as well as sort of the more medical and chemical stuff. You love just getting to know.
Oh, yes, yeah. But, yeah, all areas. So I love to look at like their so people call them magical properties, their spiritual properties of plants, and you know, how to use that to benefit people. And also, yeah, of course, there's that whole the actions, the medical side, reading the research. And it's really great to see like research stuff, scientific research being done that's backing up all this like thousands and thousands of years of knowledge that all these traditional practices have got. And now research is finally being done and substantiating it all. So it's nice to see that happening too. Yeah.
It's really exciting. Sort of whichever way you want to work with the herbs, you know, you can approach it from the sort of medical perspective, and there's a scientific research, and then you can sort of go into sort of the more esoteric arts of the herbs. So yeah.
Yes. And it's true, and it depends on clients. Some are really interested in that side of stuff and others aren't. So it's really what they want to learn as well. Because I like teaching them as well, because in the end, they're not going to be seeing me forever. They need to learn how to look after themselves and to maintain their health. So it's a teaching process too.
Yes, I love that. I think that's really important side of being a herbalist. Teaching your clients so that they have the knowledge and, you know, empowerment to also look after their health and tell more people about herbal medicine, because we need more people using it.
Yes, I know. So people just don't know, and it's not their fault. It's just not widely known, and it is, as I keep saying, it's forgotten knowledge, and it's such a shame.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad we have practitioners like you who are bringing this to the fore and helping people with their health. I think it's so powerful that we do have a whole world of medicine just growing around us.
Yes. I know, and one of the nice things about like the lockdowns we've had is being at home so much is I go to my local park every day. I mean, I've always appreciated this beautiful park, but now I've been going every day, so I've seen it like nearly 3-year change, and I am just absolutely amazed at how much is growing in this park. You know, we're not going to starve in this area. We've got so much food, the abundance of mushrooms and all the hawthorn and the elderberries and the rose hips, and it's just absolutely amazing. And the acorns, you know, there's just carpets in the autumn and stuff you can actually make, the flowers you can make with the acorns. So it's been wonderful.
So tell us about how people can find you and reach you if they wanted to work with you.
So when they go to my website, it's SiobhanCosgrave.com, and there's a contact form there. They can email me at hello@SiobhanCosgrave.com. I'm on Instagram as well, and Facebook, again under my name, Herbalist Naturopath, and it's Siobhan Cosgrave. Search that way, they'll be able to find me. And yes, and you know, and I'm happy to talk about plants and herbs all the time. So send me photos, whatever. I'm very and if they are interested in working with me, then I do the free discovery calls, so they can learn a bit more about how we would work together and what it would involve, and you know, and also it's nice, I think it's always better to speak to a practitioner first to see if you get along, because I've had experiences when I've been to see people and we just haven't had a good connection, and it doesn't work. So it's always good to have that initial conversation and decide whether this is someone you think you can work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that the rapport between the practitioner and the client is such an integral part of the healing process as well. So yeah,
it is. Yes.
Well, excellent. Well, I will include links to your website and sort of social media so that people can find you as well when we get this posted up. So any final thoughts? This is a really difficult question. Any final thoughts or advice for anyone wanting to learn more about herbs?
Oh gosh, learning. It's really go to your local park, look in your garden, look at what's growing, and then you know, plants find us sometimes. You might think this is all these weeds growing in your garden, but look at what's growing. I know when I was renovating my house, it was a really stressful time, and I had so much lemon balm growing in, just appeared in my garden, and lemon balm is amazing for anxiety and stress. You know, so it found me when I needed it. And yeah, it is just learning about it and experimenting, and you know, making teas, seeing how it helps you, how it makes you feel. And you know, there's lots of great resources on the internet. There's lots of like short courses. So it's just really getting involved. Go on foraging walks when you've got herbalists who are showing you what's growing around you. It's just absolutely fascinating. And just so easily to incorporate into your daily life, like kitchen cut. People don't realize the herbs and spices they have in their cupboards that are so beneficial for their health.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just go to your supermarket and you can access some herbal medicine.
Yes, you know, it's just there.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, Siobhan. It's been lovely to talk with you and learn more about your amazing journey. So yeah, and I recommend everyone to get in touch with Siobhan. And yeah, thank you so much.